Alright, it's your boy Masta B here live from the MMB Radio studios for the MMB Radio podcast where no topic is too big or too small. We talk about them all. And on the phone lines tonight, I have someone that I am so excited to be sharing with the world. She should actually be sharing me. She's got a lot more followers on Instagram and Twitter than I do. She's Playboy model, Miss Kelsi Shay. Kelsey, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing awesome. Wow. I mean, it's, one of the great things about having my own podcast and having the creative control to just do whatever the fuck I want to do with my podcast is being able to reach out to anybody that I find interesting and say, hey, you want to be on the podcast? Sometimes it's not that simple. Sometimes, I hit people up and it's like, who the fuck is this creep? And then other people are really chill about it. So I just hit you up on Instagram like, hey, you want to be on the podcast? And you gracefully said yes. So first off, thank you.
Good. Absolutely. Thank you for reaching out to me. I'm glad you find me interesting.
I'm sure anybody who's ever seen you has finds you more than just interesting, very attractive. We're going to start back at the original origins of all this because there's so much that I want to know about you other than just like the visuals.
Right.
So first things first, where are you originally from?
So I was born in Kansas City, Missouri.
Okay, a lot of barbecue out there.
A lot of barbecue. And then I moved to Colorado when I was 14 years old.
Okay.
So yeah.
Younger life was in Kansas City, like I guess the years where you started to blossom would be in Colorado.
Yeah, obviously there's a lot more opportunities in Colorado as opposed to Missouri.
Now,
that's a no-brainer.
Now, how did this all start? Like, obviously you're very attractive, and, did you want to be a model? Did people tell you should be doing modeling? Like, how did that start?
It's funny. So, actually, the way it all started was my mom had this friend of hers who was a photographer, and we went to one of his shows here in Colorado, and he saw me, and he was like, oh, I want to take some pictures of you. And so I had no idea what I was doing, like not a clue. I was like, yeah, okay. But they actually came out pretty good. And then I would obviously have people tell me that I was very photogenic, that I needed to get into modeling, all this stuff. But I didn't really start taking it too seriously until maybe like 19, I'd say, 19 years old. Because you have to be comfortable with it. You have to be comfortable with yourself and be comfortable in your own skin and be confident. Otherwise, it shows in the pictures. So that's how it started.
So when you first got into this modeling, or this guy was like, "I want to take some pictures of you," did you think like I'm going to be doing like runway modeling, magazine modeling, like clothing modeling? Like what was the kind of idea of what you wanted to do?
So it's funny because I always had my mind set on Playboy. Growing up, my family had Playboy magazines around the house. My mom would read them. My dad would look at them. He would say he's reading them, but I'm sure
they all read the articles.
Exactly. But, when I saw it, it wasn't just a naked woman. It was a woman comfortable in her own skin, a very confident, powerful woman. And that, to me, was what I always wanted to be. I just always wanted to be that comfortable and be beautiful without the clothing that I was wearing or anything like that. And nudity in my family wasn't bad. It's not viewed as bad, So that was my goal. That was my end goal. And then I accomplished it. And now it's just moving on to even more goals and creating more accomplishments in the future.
Now, how does someone, like I said, you have Playboys in the house. How does someone become so comfortable being naked in front of the camera? I mean, you ask probably, 9 out of 10 people, they're not all going to say, oh yeah, just take off my clothes and it's easy.
Right.
For you, was it was just that simple, or did you kind of like?
No, it was, obviously everyone has things about themselves that they would change. Like we are our toughest critics. We are the hardest on ourselves. And it's just more about embracing the good in you and seeing past the bad. So when I went to go audition for Playboy, obviously they were like, okay, it's a test shoot. take off your clothes. And I was like, oh my God, what did I get myself into? But when it was done, I was like, you know what? That wasn't that bad though. It wasn't what I was thinking it was going to be. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be portrayed in this light of, I think the thing is I myself was scared of being viewed as promiscuous or a slut or something like that. But you have to think about how that does not correspond with nudity. That doesn't correspond with the beautiful pictures that Playboy's taking. That doesn't correspond with any of that. I think that's a stigma that we have to pass with our world today, because people still view it as very bad.
So when you were a child and teenager and everything, were you this outgoing? Like, I mean, you say it doesn't coincide with nudity, you know, being promiscuous and everything. But what was your social life like in high school as a kid? Where did people think this is something you're going to do?
No, absolutely not. Oh my gosh, I was the quiet, shy girl in the back of the classroom. You know, I was just a science nerd and a computer nerd and stuff like that, which is totally fine. I mean, you can still be all that and be in Playboy, of course. But for me, it was just, you know, it was a lot of things were changing in high school. You know, your body changes and you're like, what's happening? And you just have to, it's a lot to get used to, for sure. But
no miss likely to be nude in front of a camera underneath your yearbook picture?
Absolutely not. Oh, no way. No way at all. I'm sure my high school peers are very surprised right now.
Now, that kind of takes me to the next question. So, like, when you did this, obviously people in town, you know, probably caught wind of it. What was the reaction from people in your town, neighbors, you know, fellow classmates, you know, when you started doing this?
Surprisingly, it was actually pretty good. It was the best response that I could have gotten, which is great. Because, like I said before, I think I was more scared of being viewed as promiscuous or in that light that I did not want to be portrayed as. And actually, like, everyone would congratulate me and they would say, oh my God, they're beautiful pictures. And I even thought that I was going to be embarrassed for people seeing the photos, you know, because, I mean, they're fully nude photos. But for them to say that they're beautiful and they're this, that, the other, all great comments, I think that was even more of a confidence booster, you know? You're like, okay, how I see myself isn't how other people see myself. Mm-hmm. And so I think it helps little by little, the more and more you do.
Now, I'm sure you probably shocked a lot of people, and you mentioned that you're going through this, like, development stage when, you know, teenage years and you see yourself developing. Currently, what are your physical stats right now?
Okay, so I have 34 double D breasts, and I have, oh my God, I haven't done my waist and all that in a minute, but I'm pretty sure I'm like a 27 and then maybe like a 34, 36. Right. I'm not entirely sure.
Now, 34, is this all natural, or, because I know Playboy kind of goes for the natural look. Are you natural, enhanced?
Right. So I had to get a breast lift. I actually used to weigh a lot. I used to weigh 170, okay. Surprisingly. And then I lost the weight. I started not dieting, but making healthier eating habits. And then the weight was gone, but then they were really, really saggy. So I had to, that was another thing that I wasn't comfortable with my body. But when I got the breast lift here in Colorado, things changed. You know, I was like, okay, this is good. This is how they're supposed to be. This is how they're supposed to look. This is how I wanted them. So that was definitely another stepping stone in the right direction of being comfortable with my body.
Now, after us doing a Google search, I mean, they look fucking amazing.
I thank you.
You're very welcome.
It's better. We're expensive enough.
Now, was this before or after you shot with Playboy?
This was before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah.
Did Playboy have anything against, you know, having the lift? Because, like I said, the rumor is that they don't go for anything that's enhanced. Is that true, or is that just, you know, a rumor?
No, that's a rumor. pretty sure I've seen other girls with very enhanced stuff before, but that could also be a different direction that they're taking currently, because I don't know if you remember or not, but they had banned nudity for a little bit, and then they saw how well that worked. Exactly. It was like, it's Playboy. What? No. But then they brought it back, so it very well could be true, but from what I've seen personally, no, I don't think that's very true.
Now you have this really exotic look to you, and everybody probably is guessing what is your nationality. Like, what is the whole makeup?
What would you guess it is? I'm interested in hearing this though.
Let me see. I'm gonna say some Thai.
Very good.
Let me see what else. Probably some Eastern European in there.
Okay, all right.
Am I on the right track?
So I can't believe, I'm just floored that you even got the Thai part.
I'm gonna admit, I'm gonna admit I Googled. I kind of knew the answer anyway.
Come on, man.
I kind of already knew the answer. Hey, I can't do podcasts without researching,
Come on. Well, damn. Yes, I am mostly Thai. And then I have a little bit of Tahitian, Armenian, and Dutch as well.
Well, that's the cool thing about doing the podcasting. We got to do our research, We can't just look at pictures of you, although that is like 90% of the research is just staring at pictures of you.
Right.
We do try to do some of our homework here, but for the people that were asking, you got a real exotic look, and do you feel like that has helped you with the modeling look, or do you think that's hindered you, or just neither or?
I definitely think it's helped me because you never know what kind of look people are trying to go for, and with the exotic look, you do look different, and different is very good in the modeling world. So it's definitely helped, if they want. It's funny, if they ask for Hispanic, sometimes I can pull that off, or if they ask for Asian, sometimes I can pull that off. It's different things and different looks. It really just all depends on what exactly they're looking for, but for the most part, it's helped. Being different is definitely a good thing.
Now, when people see you, what do they say your best asset is? Like, when people see you, what do they say to you? Like, Kelsey, I love this about you.
Surprisingly, they say my eyes,
okay.
Which is, very surprising, because I would have obviously thought my boobs, but usually they say my eyes, which I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, it's good that they're starting from the actual face and then working yourself down rather than starting in the middle and have to work their way up. Yeah. See?
Right. At least they notice that I have two eyeballs in the first place. Yes.
Well, it just goes to show you that, the world is not all lost,
Exactly.
We're still moving upward. So we ask people to send us in questions, because the cool thing is that with the podcast, we love getting questions from people that are fans of yours, admirers of yours, and some people come up with some really great questions. And some of them are questions that we get a lot of times, but it's still good to ask. Someone wanted to know, what is your taste in movies and music like? Like, what kind of girl are you when you are out having fun?
So to answer their question, music, I listen to mainly hip hop, but I can listen to everything except for country. I can't get into it. I'm sorry. No matter how many times I try, it's not happening for me. I can't do it. So hip hop for music. For movies, I actually really enjoy watching documentaries. I don't know why. It's just my little knack. Like, I guess I just like learning about different things going on.
I'm the same way, so.
Are you? Yes.
I rather, like, even with books, like, reading books and everything, I would love to read, like, a biography on somebody than I do, like, some kind of, like, fiction novel.
Right. Exactly. Like, we have enough monsters in the world already. We don't need to create any more. Okay.
Exactly. We're pretty good with that, you know what I mean? We got to kind of balance that out a little bit. So
right,
So you're a big hip hop fan. Who are you like a fan of music wise? Like who are some of your favorite artists?
Ooh, favorite artist. Okay. Definitely The Weeknd. Love his stuff. I love it. Cardi B. Cardi B's getting it. I can't knock her hustle. I like Bodak Yellow and all of that, so she's up there. Obviously Nicki Minaj. I mean, come on. And then, I've always liked the 50 Cent, candy shop. I've always liked that. I've listened to a lot of different artists. It's just basically what I'm in the mood for when I want to listen to it.
All right. Now, you currently live in Colorado? Are you still a Colorado resident?
Yes, I am.
Oh, now, what's the social life scene like in Colorado? I mean, other than, the obvious that people probably would think.
It's different. It's very small. Everyone knows everyone. And it's interesting, you got the people who drink, you got the people who smoke, and I don't know, it's just a different vibe. I mean, I have to travel to LA a lot because there's definitely a lot more business opportunities out there. But it's definitely different. Way different vibe. I don't even know how to explain it. It's more laid back, I guess you could say. More chill environment.
Now, obviously, you've been all over. You said LA, for business opportunities, but I'm sure you've traveled the world and everything. And someone wanted to know, like, what is your favorite vacation spot?
Oh, that's so difficult. So I would say probably Mexico. It's so much fun and it's so cheap. Everything is so cheap out there. But I actually went to Costa Rica last year for the first time. That was fun. I would have to say, probably Mexico. I mean, I would say Hawaii, but I mean, that's a given. How can you not enjoy Hawaii? Anywhere with a beach, basically.
Anywhere with sun and beach and warm weather is totally like on my radar, And I'm
exactly.
sure you can relate.
That's why I don't even know why I live in Colorado still, because it just got done snowing today.
Yeah, I was just about to start bitching and complaining about being in the Northeast, and I'm like, wait, fuck, she lives in Colorado, dude. Like, it's way worse out there,
Yeah, exactly.
So someone wanted to know, are you into sports or anything?
So here's the thing. I don't follow any sports. I don't know any of the players or anything like that, but I'll watch it. I really enjoy MMA. That is something I enjoy watching a lot. I try anything, I just did Top Golf the other day. Horrible at it, but at least I tried. I used to play volleyball when I was younger for a little bit, which I was decent at, but nothing that really followed through. No.
Okay.
But I'll watch it.
Hey, we give you A for effort,
Yes, give me an A for effort. Come on now.
See, now I would have thought you would have been like, into basketball and stuff because you had this picture on Instagram, rocking the Jordans and everything. So I thought maybe, like a killer crossover or something.
Oh, I try that too, but I guess those are just going to be more of a fashion statement because I'm not very good at that either.
Okay, so what secret talents, what are you really good at that people would be shocked to know?
Oh, just throwing all the hard questions at me, huh?
I try.
But I know, I see that. Oh, God, I'm trying to think.
I mean, when you were in school, did you have any hobbies? I mean, or did you just kind of just hang out in class? Like, were you part of any clubs? Were you interested?
I mean, obviously, I was on the hip hop team.
Okay.
But yeah, well, the problem is that I graduated high school. I got my high school diploma when I was 16. So I didn't really have that much of a high school experience.
So you were a nerd. That's cool.
Exactly, yeah. I was definitely a nerd.
I'm not just throwing it out because it sounds cool and everybody digs it. Like, I really was legit a nerd. Okay.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I graduated high school at 16, and then I was in the medical field for 5 years after that. So
okay, so that's a treat. That's something that
I mean, I guess I can just say that I'm a very hard worker. If I want something, I'll work hard and I'll get it. It's a hustler mentality, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and it's funny because I always do like some screening and talking with guests before we come on, and we were talking a little bit on Instagram, and I said I love that about you. So I love like that hustler mentality of you.
Yeah.
And the point I made is because nobody's going to out hustle yourself when it comes to doing something for yourself. Nobody's going to go to war for you and go as hard for you as you would yourself. So I admire that about you. So, I mean, hardworking and everything, but, did you have any, like, aspirations, in school? I mean, obviously medical. Did you, like, have plans that you wanted to do nursing, brain surgery, like?
Actually, I wanted to do biomedical engineering.
Okay.
Yeah. Just throwing out the bad boy there. But, yeah, I wanted to do biomedical engineering. I just found it fascinating that you could do these different organs in machinery, basically. But, it's always been difficult for me because I love animals. Oh my God, I love animals more than I like people. But those jobs don't really pay that well. But I'm good with computers and I'm good with medical terminology and all that. So there's higher paying jobs in that field.
Now, when you're doing the modeling job, I mean, it's for people out there who want to be a model, who are, trying to get into modeling, what is like some advice you would give them?
Do your research. You have to see who would be your best target based on your body type. So I mean, me, with my body type, I can't really do high fashion because they want less curvy girls, basically. So you just have to basically just create a list of brands that you think you would do well with, or different clothing lines, stuff like that. And you have to go out and get it. You have to network. You have to reach out to people. You have to be willing to put in the work because you can't cheat the game. The game knows how much effort you put in. And, yeah, I would just say just be smart about it. Don't waste your time with things. I don't want to say waste your time because you never know what's going to happen, but go with what would probably work best for you. So, like, obviously Playboy works best for me, lingerie line, stuff like that, because I am curvy. I'm not a size 2, but it works for me. So yeah. I would say that.
No, because a lot of people, like, they see Instagram and they see, an image that people portray on Instagram, and right away everybody thinks, I want to be that. And you can pretty much say that with almost every, aspect there is. Like, I think one of the biggest struggles for people nowadays is that they all want to be the next Instagram model. They want that instant gratification. And you're saying yourself that it's not something that just happens overnight. Like, you do have to work and hustle for this.
Absolutely. A goal, what is that saying? It's like a goal without a deadline is just a dream.
Exactly.
Like, you have to push yourself. You have to set goals that would probably make you uncomfortable with a deadline, but it's just going to pass you by otherwise if you just let it slip. So yeah, I would definitely say make a list if you're aspiring to be a model or whatever you're trying to do. Figure out what works best for you. Figure out what you can do to make it happen. It's just putting in the effort. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it.
Exactly. Now, when you made your goals, what were some of the goals you had? Obviously, you mentioned you threw it right out there, Playboy. And you achieved that goal pretty quickly and easily. But was there any other goals that you wanted to do?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to be in a magazine, which that actually happened before Playboy. That happened when I was 21, I think, 20 or 21. I was published in my first magazine, Rooster Magazine, and then Playboy followed that. But I also wanted to do Maxim and Sports Illustrated, and I would love to be on a billboard somewhere. That would be great. Who knows? Maybe acting. I have no idea. It's funny because I don't know what I'm good at. I don't know if I'm good at acting. I don't know if I'm cut out for that, but I'm going to try. I'm going to see.
Well, you're kicking ass in podcasting, so, I mean,
Why, thank you. Why, thank you very much.
Now, is there anything that you have on the list that I'm like, I'm not going to do?
Porn.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have anything against it or that industry per se. It's just, it's hard enough to try to have people look past a nude body with Playboy and not see it as porn. So I'm just trying to keep those two separate, basically. But I don't know. It's just, it's difficult. It's difficult when you're dealing with nudity, for sure.
Now, when you have a life as a nude model and everything, I mean, is that a luxurious, job? Like, do you see a lot of money from that, or?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not doing it for free. That's for sure. But yeah, if you do it right, you can definitely make a decent amount of money on it. But with that said, you do have to pay your dues. Like when I was first starting out with modeling, I wasn't getting offers all the time for paid photo shoots. It was, time for trade. And that's how you create a portfolio. That's how you get experience. You learn how to pose, what poses work best for you, all of the different tricks and stuff with the lighting. So with that said, yes, you can make money doing it, but you definitely have to pay your dues at the beginning.
And the thing is I wanted to hear you say that for people that are listening, because again, it goes all back to what I was saying about Instagram and people seeing models on Instagram and some of these young girls out there, or, even, guys that want to be sports athletes or, singers and rappers and everything, that you don't see that instant paycheck right away. And it's good
right.
that someone else they hear someone else saying that, because a lot of people are jaded and they think that, I'm going to be a model and I'm going to make millions of dollars doing this. And it's easy. All I got to do is just wake up and they take a couple pictures of me and I go back to bed. And
right.
It's not that simple.
No, not at all. Not at all. You have to watch what you eat. You have to work out. You have to, it's a commitment. It doesn't just stop once your photo shoot's done. You have to make sure that you maintain yourself to a point to where people want to continue to shoot with you. And that in itself is difficult because I love food, all the food, but you have to be smart about it.
Now, you mentioned that you love food and everything. What is your favorite food to eat?
Oh, God, all of it. Just give it all to me. My favorite, though, probably pasta, which is really bad, really, really bad.
Mm.
You know what's funny? I love ramen. Like the 25-cent ramen at the store. I don't care how much money I have.
Mm-hmm.
I will still crave it. I crave it because it's like a childhood thing. It's just, I love it.
That's not good for you either, though.
Oh, it's horrible. Horrible. Oh, my God.
But it's so cheap, and it's like you have it, and you're like, I want more of it.
Right. Exactly.
Too much of a good thing.
Exactly. So bad for you, though. So bad.
So you mentioned that being a model, it's like a lifestyle. It's a commitment to it. You have to train. You have to, keep a physical, look going. What about relationships? Like are you currently, one, in a relationship, and two, like how are relationships when you are a model?
So relationships when you're a model are very difficult. How do I even explain this? So it's basically like every guy wants to date a model, but they don't actually want to date a model. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is they want to have the bragging rights of, oh, my girlfriend's a model, she does this, like, look at her in this, blah, blah, blah. But then when it comes down to you doing photo shoots that are nude, implied nude, stuff like that, or you have to reach out to people and network and talk with male photographers and stuff like this, it definitely makes them a little insecure and
jealousy
jealous.
Factor. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's crazy, but yeah, it's really difficult. And plus, you don't ever know who is actually wanting to know you for you or if they're just wanting arm candy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's difficult to try to differentiate the two. That's why I just focus on my career as much as possible. I just don't really have time for it. If it happens, it happens, you know. But you definitely have to, I don't want to say keep your guard up, but you have to be smart and you have to notice red flags and be aware of a person.
And
for
you know,
sure.
your answer is kind of on point with a lot of the adult stars that we have on the podcast. Everybody wants to say that they are dating a porn star, but not everybody can handle the fact that your girlfriend is getting laid on a daily basis, is getting laid more than you are, and then her coming home and not even wanting to be in the mood to do that because she's just been doing it all day.
Exactly. Yep. And see, my thing was they were uncomfortable with the fact that their friends could Google me and see my nude photos. Well, that's what Playboy is. It's nude photos. And you knew what you were signing up for.
Exactly.
So.
Took the words right out of mouth. That's what you signed up for.
Exactly.
You knew what I was doing when we, started dating.
Exactly. And maybe, I don't know, maybe it's something with them to where they were comfortable with themselves up until that point, up until the different level of, oh shit.
Like this is
I'm
real.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Like this is real life and I don't like it. And to each their own. Some men don't want that in their life. Some men can't handle that and that's fine too, but just don't waste my time with it.
See, now I always kind of describe it as it's kind of like a honeymoon phase. Like guys, I feel love the chase of it, love the fact that like, hey, I'm talking to this girl, Kelsey, she's a model and everything. We're not really serious, we've just kind of chit-chatted, maybe hung out a couple
right.
times. But then once you fully like make the commitment, like, hey, we're not just dating, like we're actually a romantic couple. I feel like that
right.
whole desire of the chase and the whole, like it's cool wears off. And then that's when the jealousy things kick in and it's just like, if they could just stay in that little phase there where they're just like, I just love chasing this girl around and I love just kind of just hanging out with her with no commitment, it's cool. But then when we have a commitment, it's like, all right, not cool anymore because now my boys are, Googling her or sending me a picture like, hey, just saw Kelsey did this shoot. Dude, she looks fucking awesome.
Exactly. And it's also
them.
very time consuming. It's very time consuming. You have to travel to different places. You have to put in, like I said before, you have to put in work. You have to reach out and network and continue to update your list of who should I reach out to next? Who have I already reached out to? Let me try this again. It's a job. It is a job. For anyone who thinks that modeling is not a job, I would gladly invite them to try it and let me know what they think afterwards. So there's that too. You always have to think of, is this fair to them because I'm out of the state most of the time or they live in a different state? It's a bunch of different factors. So it can definitely be hard. I'm not going to blame it all on them, but usually it's to be blamed all on them.
Now,
what
is the ideal guy for you? Like, what do you look for in a guy? Whether it be personality or physical, like, let's just be honest. It's called a spade. That's why we have apps like Tinder. Yeah. Nobody clicks on Tinder and reads your fucking bio. They're either swiping left or right based on the picture. So
Exactly. So, physically wise, it's funny because I don't have a certain type. I thought I did, but then it's been all over the place. I've dated plenty of different kinds of dudes because it really depends on the person. So what I look for is obviously you have to have a sense of humor. I'm sarcastic, so you have to be able to take a joke. And I love it if you can throw it back at me. That is great if you don't get butthurt about me ragging on you. So humor, definitely have to have that. Strong work ethic. I can't be around anyone who is not motivated because then that only brings you down. If all you want to do is lay on the couch and watch TV and not get up and work and do stuff, then that's only going to make me want to do that. And I can't do that. I can't. Like I'm on a roll. I'm going to continue to be on a roll. I don't have time for it. So that I would prefer for him to be, this is probably one of the physical things. I would prefer for him to be taller than me. That's a plus.
Sorry, short guys.
Right. I mean, I wouldn't throw them out. I can't throw them out just because they're short, because that's not fair.
They could be making it up in other places. You never know.
Exactly. Exactly. You never know. So that, and then I like to see how they interact with their family. I don't really like guys who are very, like, not disrespectful, but I like to see the family dynamic and how that works and how they act with their family or interact with their family. Now, I'm not asking for a mama's boy, because that would be annoying. But, yeah, I mean, and then obviously the givens, don't lie, don't cheat, don't, like, just basically common shit that you should know, but
it's funny.
You never know nowadays.
Someone had said to me, they were like, the best way you can judge how a guy interacts with people and what kind of personality he has is, they said, watch how he treats a waitress when you are out on a date.
Yes.
And
absolutely.
I never really thought about that, but they're like, if he is, respectful to someone who's a complete stranger who's doing a job and, treats them fairly decently, then you got a good chance that they're going to be a pretty decent person.
Exactly. I couldn't agree more. Absolutely.
But the things, like I said, with the whole Tinder thing is just a lot of people it is a physical attraction, that sometimes you don't get to see the personality of people. You can see somebody and be like, I'm not really attracted to that person, and find out later that person is a really, swell guy and could be really cool, but you don't see past the physical.
Right.
So,
right.
I mean,
physical attraction is definitely something that needs to be there, of course, but just to base solely on if you're going to give a guy a chance based off of his look solely, I've tried it and it doesn't work out very well. Take my report. Yeah.
So what if you had your ideal date? Like, someone want to know, what's the ideal date? Where would you want to go? What would you want to do? How would it all break down?
So my ideal date is to go out to dinner, so that way we can have a conversation. Because if I don't feel that I can even have a conversation with you, I don't want another date. There's no point. And then, hey, I could even see how he treats the waitress.
There you go, see?
No,
tips.
it all works out. It all works out. But basically, yeah, I just have to see if I have a connection with them. And if we can have a conversation. I mean, having a guy who's hot is great and all, but looks are going to fade later on. So, and then you're going to be left with someone who you can't even chat with. No, it's not going to happen. So yeah, I would say my ideal date would be a dinner. I don't understand how people go to the movies for their first date. Like, you don't even talk. You aren't even paying attention to each other. You're just staring at a screen. I could have done this at home. Right? Like, I don't get it. I want to know more about you. I want you to know about me, so that way we can see if there's a mutual connection.
Okay, so just dinner and conversation. It's just, something very simple.
Yeah, I'm not asking for like a hot air balloon ride or anything, just simple.
But would you take one?
I would.
I'm not asking for one, but I'm not going to turn it away either,
I mean, hey, if someone out there wants to take me on a hot air balloon ride, I might have to say yes.
So a couple more of these questions, because these were sent on my website as well as on Instagram and on Twitter and everything.
Okay.
This one guy, all right, so we did the ideal date, and then the one guy goes on to say, where was that question? It was kind of weird, and I was just like, all right, I'm not really sure what he means by this. So I'm going to just shout this guy out. Brightsy is Bright ZZY. He's like, what is your take on sexual inabilities? I'm not really sure what he means by it.
So, like, ED, like erectile dysfunction and, like, pre-ejaculation? Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, that's why I'm kind of confused. So, Bright Z didn't really define that. I don't know.
My take on that would be if you have something that's going on probably should get it checked out by a doctor just to make sure it's not anything with your health-wise or anything like that. Otherwise, they make pills for that. But, and then, yeah, practice makes perfect, I guess. I don't know how to answer that.
I feel like he kind of, like, has to elaborate more. Like, I feel like I need to dig deeper into this and his follow-up questions to him.
Can I buy a vowel, please? Like, what do you mean?
Yes, exactly. It's like, so, like, are you hinting at something, Brightsy? You know, like,
right.
You know, are you just kind of like laying it out there? Like, hey, Kelsey, if I ever come to Colorado, you know, and I got ED, is that going to be a problem?
Right, yeah. These aren't blue Tic Tacs in my pocket.
But you know what, though? Honesty is the best policy. At least he's coming out forward and saying, like, hey, we could go and have dinner, have a conversation, but if we're going to go fuck later, I just got to put this out there. Like, what is your take on sexual inabilities? You know, because I can't please you.
The girl might know a trick or two up her sleeve, you know? But
maybe that's what he's asking. I don't know. Maybe, I mean, we really gotta find out what's going on with him.
Communication is key. I'll just leave it at that. Communication is key. So that will be my answer to that odd question, if that was a question. We can consider that a question.
Yeah, we're not really sure what that was, but, you know, I had to ask it this time because I was like, I got to find out, you know, maybe I'm not reading it right. But and the follow-up question that someone else wants to know is, like, what's the craziest place that you've ever made out at?
Ever made out at? Oh,
yeah, whether it be, you know, just random, like, you know, hooking up or just, like, full-blown sex. Like, where's the craziest place you've ever had it?
Oh, God. So, the craziest place that I've actually had sex at was on a trampoline.
Okay. Is this in your backyard or?
Yeah, my backyard, and it was at night. You know, it wasn't like in the daylight, but I don't recommend it at all. It was not good. Extra bouncing and all of that. Like, no, it did not work out.
Yeah, you can get poked in places that you don't want to get poked at, you know? And
Exactly, yeah. So I was not a fan of that. That was a bad idea. But I would say that would be the craziest place. Definitely.
Where would you like to have sex? Or are you just kind of like a plain Jane chick and it's like, I just would rather just have it in a bed?
See, that's my thing. It's like I always have these ideas of it, you know, of like joining the Mile High Club and everything. But then I'm like, oh no, I travel too much. And if I get banned, if I get put on the no-fly list, I'm screwed. So I start thinking about that and I'm like, no, it's not worth it. Then
you're starting a GoFundMe to have like a Kelsey bus made, you know, you have your cruiser bus.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly. Or like, I'll see you guys in 3 days because I have to drive there. Yeah.
So no Mile High Club. So cancel that one off the list.
Yeah. I mean, you know, if it happens, it happens. But I just really, no. I always think about the consequences. I guess that's my problem. I always think about the consequences of my actions. And then
you didn't think about this on the trampoline until after the fact, though.
You know, I did, though. I was like, it's dark out, you know, no one's here, no one's outside, like, we're fine. And then, yeah, I forgot the extra bouncing and shoving part. Yeah.
So that experience just kind of just opened your mind and your eyes to say, you know what, maybe this isn't the best idea. Maybe, you know, we don't need to be doing this.
Yep. When you have to apologize after, like, I'm sorry, I almost broke your penis, then yeah.
But you know what, though? That guy out there right now, one, he has a story to tell, and quite honestly, I don't want to speak for this gentleman, but I can tell if it were me, I think I would take the risk of breaking my penis if it meant, you know, I was making out with Kelsi Shay on a trampoline.
Right.
You know, the risk outweighs the reward, but you know what I mean? In this case, I'm going to take the risk.
Oh, my God. I love it, though. I love it. Yeah.
Now,
I had to apologize after.
I'm so... Oh, wait, hold on. But I got to ask, though. Did he even get to finish, or...
You know...
or we're not really sure.
There was a point where it was just like, I know I'm not enjoying this, so you can't possibly be enjoying this.
He's like, no, I really am, though. Just, like, keep bouncing.
Right. He was trying to make it work. A for effort for him. trying to make it work, but I think I was over it at that point.
It's like, how do you say it in a nice way? They're like, dude, this isn't fucking working. And he's just like, no, please let this work, you know, just a little more bouncing, just a little more bouncing.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, nope, not happening. If there's one more accidental slip, no.
Now, are you more of a sensual person when you're in relationships with a guy like that, or are you more like aggressive? Like, what type of kind of wildness is Kelsey?
I think you need to build your way up. You know, you can't just start off aggressive and whatnot. You try to ease your way into it, you know, fill it out, and then build up to that sexual tension and frustration and all that stuff. I'm trying to think. I don't think I would really. I like aggressive. Like, I want you to take charge and whatnot. You know, I don't want to tell you everything you have to do, but I don't know how well that would work if you started off the bat like that.
That's kind of crazy. Just kind
of. I
might
think you're trying to rob me or something.
Yes, exactly. Hey, unless you know, he was totally like into the whole, you know, role playing thing and did not relay the message to you.
Right, but you gotta let a bitch know. You can't just bring that on her and be like, here, I'm here to fix your pool.
What character am I playing? Am I supposed to? I'm the victim, right? I'm assuming I'm the victim. Right? I don't really know what's going on here. You know?
Exactly, yeah. Once again, communication is key.
Should I had props, you know? Should I had, like, you know, a fake can of mace with me, you know? Am I supposed to, like, hand off, like, you know, one of my purses to you? Like, I don't, like, you gotta lay this out. You gotta have a game plan. You can't just jump right into that.
Exactly. If you throw a bag over my head, make sure I don't try to stab you. I mean,
yes, exactly. Let me know. I'm sticking a bag over your head at some point during this session, you know, so just so you know.
There we go. Yeah. Yes,
like,
that would
awesome.
Work.
Yes, so at least I know it's coming, you know?
Exactly.
So I would say then, and obviously you don't want to tell the guy what to do and everything, but I guess you're more submissive, more, like you said, or are you just kind of like 50-50, like?
Yeah, I would say 50-50. I mean, there's different moods, you know? Sometimes you want to be caressed, and sometimes you want to be treated like a dirty whore. Like, I don't.
Sometimes you got just, you know, sweet and cute Kelsey, and sometimes you just got really horny Kelsey. That's just like.
Exactly. So it really all depends on my mood. It could change at any given time.
Now, one guy, he tweets into me, and he wants to know. He's like, does size matter to you? It's not the same guy who had the sexual inabilities. So.
Okay, I was like, is this the same guy?
He's under a different alias. He's like, first I can't get it up, but then when I do get it up, it's not, you know, fully saluting, you know, like.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh. Okay, so it's not the same guy. That's good to know. Well, I mean, here's the thing. Size, that's a tricky question because I don't want really thick, you know, like width-wise, I don't want to feel like I'm sitting on a fucking Gatorade bottle, okay? Like, that does not feel nice to me. That's not good. But, I mean, you obviously have to have something to work with, lengthwise a little bit. I'm not saying it has to, like, that's a hard one. That's a hard one. Well, that's like, what's the thing? Like, is it the size of the boat or the motion of the ocean?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, what's too big, you know, for Kelsey?
I mean, what am I comparing it to?
I got two different tweets, two different questions from two different people who, one, has sexual inabilities, I'm assuming, allegedly, has sexual inabilities. Another guy who, you know, I think is maybe a little concerned about his penis size, you know, so he kind of wants to know, like, what is going to please Kelsey. I mean, I think these guys, I give them all the credit in the world for coming out and being like, hey, I just want to cover all the bases here. I want to know, you know, what do I need to do to make this happen with Kelsey? You know, like, what's a deal breaker?
Honestly, I'm Asian, so I'm super tight as it is. So even if it is smaller, probably still gonna be fine.
Still gonna feel something. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Still gonna feel something. But yeah, I guess it really depends on how small are we talking, or I don't know.
How big we're talking.
Or how big? Yeah, I'm not trying to like have Mandingo over here. Like, no, no. Like I will scream and run away. No. Where are they buried? The people you've had sex with. No.
Yeah. How many people did you slay today before coming over here?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. No. I think there's always going to be a too small, but there's always going to be a too big as well. Everyone's got different sizes. Everyone.
All right. So these questions are, we're coming in hot and heavy here. So another guy wanted to know, like, what is the favorite positions? I mean, obviously being, 50-50, sometimes you want to take control and sometimes you, want to be taken over. What does Kelsey enjoy?
This is where I sound boring, but I enjoy missionary. That's the one that feels the best to me. But I can do doggy style. That would be my next favorite, I would say. But yeah, missionary. It's just, for the girl, it feels the best, for me at least. I don't know about the guys.
And I love how humble you are when you say things like, I'm kind of boring. But, like, there's nothing fucking boring about you. Like, but I appreciate the humbleness here. Like, any dude is like, they're fighting each other right now, listening to this podcast to do missionary. It's like they're not arguing with that.
They're like, I'll take it.
Yes, I'll take it any way I can, trampoline or not. Like, I will take this shit. So and it's funny because obviously you got female admirers. One girl wants to know, are you into girls?
So I can appreciate a woman's body and how beautiful she is and all that. I personally have never been with a woman because I just have never had that urge to be with a woman. I'm not going to say never, because you never know. But I haven't been with a woman and I haven't gotten that urge to be with a woman. So not so much. Currently strictly dickly, I guess.
And that's totally fine with me, That's
right. You're like, I'm in.
I'm in. You know what I mean? As long as you don't have sexual inabilities and you're not too big and not too small, you're just right.
Right.
And you could have a chance, I just gotta get a really good ticket on Hotwire to Colorado or something, and pack some warm clothes.
Right.
So, all right, so not into chicks. So that one person, I won't mention her name because I don't want to embarrass them. But she's,
I love that though. I love that there's a differentiation in the audience. That's great.
Yeah, I mean that's the cool thing. Like, when we were first talking, you were like, "Well, who's listening to this podcast?" And I'm like, "A lot of horny guys." Like just being real, just keep it at 100 here. There's gonna be a bunch of horny guys listening to the podcast. But yeah, we got a couple horny girls that listen to the podcast. And they're just as fans of you as the guys are. So.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
So the next guy says, he goes, are you a giver or a taker? I guess this again would be kind of 50-50, I would assume.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it can't be all about one person. That's rude. If it's about one person, then that's a favor. That's not.
Again, this all goes back to guys saying, you know what, I'll be gladly just to be the giver if that means, if that's what you're into,
True. This is true. Yes. But, I mean, yeah, obviously I'm not one of those girls who's like, I don't give head. Like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? But, yeah, no, it definitely has to be mutually beneficial.
That was going to be my kind of my personal follow-up question. Not, do you give head? But,
So I was like, well, okay.
Yeah, I'm just going to be real blunt about it. Be like, hey, Kelsey, do you give great head? I mean, you can answer that question if you'd like, but it's not.
I haven't got a complaint, so.
Exactly. I don't see many people complaining. But is there anything, I was going to get at, is there anything that you do not enjoy? Like you said, there's some people that don't give head, and there's some people that are like, they don't enjoy oral. Like, there's some people that just don't enjoy certain things.
Do not play with my ass. Not a finger, a tongue, not a penis, nothing. No. Mm-mm. That is off limits for me. No ass play. Sorry, but But
it's just, have you had it happen? It just not feel right, or?
I just, like every time I even think about it, I'm just like, oh no.
It's squirmy,
that's not
like,
happening. Right. Like how much most men don't want a dick up their ass, that's the same level of me. Like,
there may be guys on listening to the podcast that do, though, so, you know.
True. This is true. Very true. But yeah, I think that's my one thing. I'm just like, nope, not happening. I don't like it.
So you never had like a bad experience with that, or it's just something that you just don't have any desire, or?
Obviously, usual accidental slips here and there, you know. And
on
then
the
you're like,
trampoline?
oh my god. Exactly. And then you're like, oh my god, that will never happen again.
One too many bounces on the trampoline, and you find a new hole.
Traumatized, yes. Yeah, I think that would be my one hard pass for that, definitely.
So, a lot of people are on social media. I mean, grandparents are on social media now, like great-grandparents are on social media.
Right.
Even during this whole fiasco with Facebook, people are still on Facebook and social media. Where can people find you at on the internet? So if they want to just stare at your pictures, pleasure themselves, just stay up on your current doings and all that good stuff.
Well, Google is always a great option. You can always just Google me, Kelsi Shay Playboy. Or you can go to my Instagram, which is Miss Kelsi Shay. So MissKelsiShay. That's the same one for my Twitter as well. And then I don't use Facebook. That's yeah.
It's because the great-grandparents are on it now. That's what it is. It's not cool anymore.
Right. Well, remember MySpace? It's starting to turn into old MySpace.
It is. You would have been in my top 8. Was it 8, 12?
Aww.
I think there was apps you could make 25 or something like that. It is like, that was the craziest thing.
You could get the music on your profile page.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. I used
right?
to, I went to school with a guy who was like able to trick it all out and like do HTML and like made my page do like all kinds of crazy weird shit. And I'm like, this is fucking awesome. But then it was a struggle every day of like who was going to be in the top 8. It's just like, if I have a real solid chance of hooking up with Kelsey, I'm putting her in the top 8.
And poor Tom, we all turned our backs on Tom from MySpace.
Yeah, fuck Tom.
Remember that? Oh, poor Tom. Everyone left his ass.
I seen a funny meme that was out there during this whole Facebook debacle, and he was just like, it was a meme, and it was the profile picture of Tom, and he's just like, hey, but remember, I didn't share your information with anybody. You didn't put me in the top 8,
that's true. That's true. That's true. But,
it's supposed to be a funny meme.
If you honestly didn't kind of assume that your information was going to be sold on Facebook, then you are the reason why we have peanut packages that say Nick and say nuts. Yes. You are that reason. Yeah.
Which that's another thing that just annoys the shit out of me. Kids with peanut allergies.
Okay, wait, so I have a peanut allergy. I'm allergic to nuts.
How the hell did that happen? I blame parents for not giving their kids food so that they become immune to this shit.
It's funny, no, so my mom did that. She would literally feed me spoonfuls and then the Benadryl. And so I built up the tolerance to where I could actually have it, but then there was a point where I stopped eating it for a while, just solely because of me. And then I tried it again, and then I got that allergy to it back. Like I can't do it. And I don't really want it anyways, so it's not that much of a loss. But I mean, I'm good on a plane. If you open up a package of peanuts next to me, I'm not going to like go into anaphylactic shock.
You gotta have one of those little pens with you to just kind of like stab yourself with.
Yep, the EpiPen.
Yes, yep. It's crazy. But I always blamed it. I always said like, for kids that have like peanut allergies, and I say to them like, did you not feed your kid peanut butter until they like turned to age 10? Like it was a milestone. Like you're 10 years old. Here's a peanut butter and jelly sandwich for the first time.
Yeah. Yeah. No, my mom definitely did that. She's like, I'm not raising no nerd. Like, nope. And she fed that stuff to me and then fed me Benadryl after until I built up a tolerance. But I guess it was that time period after where I just didn't have it at all and then tried it again that it was just not good. It's not worth it to me. I'm good.
So you live a peanut-free life, it's all good.
Exactly.
So again, people can find you on Twitter and Instagram and not so much Facebook. But you said cool thing doing a Google search. Like I did a Google search and, I was fairly familiar with who you were, but I just seen things on Google that I'm just like, wow, like this is fucking amazing. What is your take on people who, look at you and, like I said, happen to do some things? Not speaking from experience, but.
What's my take on it? Like them.
Like, is it weird to you that, like, that guys are, looking at your pictures and pleasuring themselves to you? Or is that kind of, like, flattering? Or
It's flattering, but at the same time, I don't really think about it. Only until it's really brought to my attention, like just now.
Like
thank
right
you.
now? You're welcome.
Yeah. But, no, I mean, yeah, I guess you could say it's kind of flattering. It's a confidence booster. It's great. It's a compliment. I'll take it.
Like, hey, a guy really wants to, whack off to me. Like, all right.
I mean, just don't tell me about it. Don't share your experience.
Again, not speaking from experience. Disclaimer during the podcast. Disclaimer, not speaking from experience.
That's what they all say.
No, I mean, it's something I do ask because I always ask, like, a lot of, like I said, adult film stars that come on the podcast. And I always say to them, I was like, first thing is, do you watch your own stuff? And a lot of them tell me that they can't because it's weird to them to watch themselves, having sex.
Yeah.
And I say to them the same thing. Like, how do you feel that knowing that, like, 99.9% of the people that you come in contact with that tell you that they're a fan, obviously it's because they've been watching your porn, and who the hell watches porn without,
right.
doing that?
Exactly.
Like, I mean, it's hard to watch a porn for so long and not feel the urge to, like, either do it yourself or find someone to do it with. So, I say, like, is that weird?
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I was talking about before with the struggle of differentiating Playboy with porn because, to me, these are beautiful photos. This was for like a photo shoot, I like to keep it classy. And even so, when I did Playboy Thailand, when I did the magazine for them, they don't even do nude. They don't do full nude at all.
Oh, that sucks.
Right. So it's different. I guess for me, yeah, I try to think about it from a modeling aspect, but most likely, yeah, it's being used for other stuff.
Yeah. I mean, you have to, like, have that in the back of your mind.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm doing it for the art aspect of it, but I have to know that a good majority of the people are not looking at it for the art aspect of it. Just like Just like you said, you had Playboys laying around as a kid. Like, the guys are not reading the articles. Let's just, let's be honest here. There might be a small percentage that are, but not all of them are.
The magazine page is all crunchy.
Yes, exactly. Like, what is wrong with this page? Like, what the hell happened? Mailman delivered it in the rain. It rained that day.
Right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
It's funny you say something like that because I was recently, like about a year ago, I had met someone that was on a cover of, Playboy, and I took it to an autograph signing and had them autograph it. And the funny thing is, the girl, she says to me, she's like, "Wow, I can't believe like how like clean this magazine is." And I'm like, "Yeah, no sticky pages or anything." And she was just like yeah, she was so blown away that I didn't, abuse this magazine. But I didn't go ahead and tell her that I actually bought 2 copies. She just happened to.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, so, there you go. See.
Yeah. So sorry. So she was impressed, but I don't know if she was impressed or disappointed. I'm like, are you? Is like that a good thing or is that a bad thing? Like,
right. Exactly.
So what is still on Kelsey's radar of things you want to do and accomplish in life, whether it be short-term or long-term goals?
Let's see. So basically just take my modeling career as far as it can possibly go. You aren't going to have your looks forever, You have a short window of opportunity to do this. So I'm going to do it to the fullest, whether that be next being the Maxim or Sports Illustrated. I don't know. I'm still networking, it's in the process. I have a few things that might possibly be in the making, but I'll wait to see if those are actually done deals or not. But, yeah, you never know. And who knows, my modeling could turn into acting. It could turn into anything, really. It could go anywhere. So it just basically depends on how much work you're willing to put in, which good thing I'm willing to put in a lot of work for it.
There you have it.
But,
I mean, just keep following you, I guess, on the social media aspects to, to find out what we're going to be doing next. Obviously, we don't want you to give away anything that's not finalized yet and jinx anything.
right.
You know?
Yeah, exactly.
We need more Kelsey in our lives. It should be part of everybody's daily diet, to have more Kelsey in their lives. So.
Yes, I plan on giving it. I just need to stay focused. I think that's the hardest part is people lose their focus and become less motivated, and then it turns into laziness, and you just have to battle through that and keep pushing.
Hashtag Kelsey is life, you know what I mean? If that's not motivating, if it's not trending, it's like, what are you going to do? So
right.
before you get out of here, like what do you want the fans to know? Is there any parting words for any of these guys who have the sexual inabilities and anything encouraging words, since we're motivating people here, like what motivation can you give to these people?
Just be motivated. I guess just for me, I'm motivated of the fear of being average. You yourself are fantastic in your own way. Everyone has something that they're good at. Everyone has something that they can push themselves to be better at. Just if one door closes, keep going. I mean, I've had multiple times where I was told no, but if I didn't keep pursuing what I wanted and what I was working for, then none of this would have happened. So even if you're told no, you have to fail in order to succeed. But I guess just keep pushing.
Keep on grinding.
Keep going. Exactly. Grinding.
And again, this was a moment that me and Kelsey had when we were setting up the podcast, and I told her, I said, believe me, I've been told no a million times to different things, so believe me, I do a lot of sliding in DMs and be like, hey, you want to be on the podcast? But I've become tolerant to the fact now that I'm prepared that, if Kelsey would have been like, fuck you, or said, nothing at all, that I'm well prepared for that, and I just think that's just one thing that, for people that are out there, if I could share any encouragement for anybody out there, is just to make sure you continue to keep pushing, keep striving, because you're going to be told no, like you said. But the cool thing is, though, is just you don't want to be told yes right away, because anything, it sounds cliche, but anything worth having is worth working for, so.
Exactly. Yep.
Thankfully for me, it wasn't a hard struggle to get you on the podcast, but I'm glad that you did, because I simply adore you. I think you are just fucking amazing. I love that you just have this outgoing personality, and I just can't thank you enough for taking, what I thought was just going to be a 15, 20-minute podcast, and we've been talking for over an hour. So,
exactly.
So I really appreciate that.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you reaching out to me. I really do.
And anytime you want to come out to the East Coast, to the Philadelphia area, we will make sure we have, nice weather, trampolines, and all the Philly cheesesteaks you can eat.
Oh, God. I think I'll have to pass on the trampolines. But, yes, nice weather. I'm absolutely.
But don't pass on the cheesesteaks, because you're going to love that.
Oh, okay. I will not, actually. Okay, I am so down for that.
Cheesesteaks with no peanut butter, nothing. Just
yeah,
cheesesteaks.
Please don't kill me in the process.
Awesome. Well, Kelsey, I appreciate it again for you coming in and talking to us, and we always want to hear and see big things coming from you, so we'll definitely be keeping an eye out on you, and make sure you guys go ahead and you follow her on Twitter and Instagram, and make sure you download this podcast, share this podcast, tell everybody what you thought of this podcast, and just, much success to you.
Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Not a problem. You have a great evening.
You too. Hi, my name is Kelsi Shay, and you're listening to Mixed Master B on MMB